Hello and welcome to On a Roll with Kerwin Brown. Welcome, and today my guest is Alexander Salameh, who is the CEO at Bakery de France, and we're going to get a chance to sit down and chat a little bit and find out more about you and your path to baking and a little bit about your business. So I like to start these with sort of this and that. So
Okay.
I'll say a couple things and you say your favorite. So salty or sweet?
Salty.
Okay. Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Favorite DC burger joint?
That's a really good question. I would say Le Diplomate.
Okay.
They have a really good burger in DC.
Fries or tater tots?
Fries.
Okay. And then soccer or American football?
Soccer.
Okay. So tough loss. But
Sorry.
with the Americans recently.
Yes.
And then favorite snack, like you're just saying, I gotta have a snack. What is it?
Probably, this is going to be very cliche, but a baguette with cheese or some sort of charcuterie.
It's awesome. Very, very good. So I like to talk about the path of baking and, knowing a little bit about you. Your path is certainly family bakery.
Yes.
and where you are. I would call it sort of deep in that family business. So talk a little bit about, you're talking about where you started in high school, and then kind of tell us a little bit about that story of kind of what you did until where you are today.
Sure, absolutely. So, my life has been very intertwined with the bakery's history. So, I started off, my first official job was in high school. I managed our sourdough. I would clean the tanks out, feed the sourdough every day after school. From there, I worked various roles in production, mixing and forming, packaging. In college, I started our marketing department, so started doing the photography and the talking about the breads and looking at more customer-facing marketing materials.
Right.
After college, I went to work for a year with Eric Kaiser. He's our partner, and he's a great baker based in Paris. So I had the opportunity to live there for a year and learned all about the true artisan form, handmade artisan bread baking and patisserie.
Right.
Then I came back after a year and did sales, business development, more marketing, eventually got into operations and really was able to touch on pretty much every part of the business.
Yeah, I love that because, there's not really a part of your business that you don't know, you don't understand. Right. And now, as CEO, you kind of get to touch all those pieces. So, and really part of the formation of a lot of those pieces. So that's really interesting.
Yes.
The year in Paris, you were 22 or whatever,
yep.
And how did that change you? I mean, you were probably in the flour, in the
yes.
bakery, long hours every day. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. It really gave me a more profound respect for our trade, for our craft. Mm-hmm. I mean, seeing what it takes, especially manually, to make the breads, to make the sweet goods, it was really amazing to see. It also really helped me understand our mission here a little bit better, to have seen how it's done all handmade,
right.
And to see it being done on a mass scale, still respecting everything that we do industrially in an automated environment. So it was a great way to really round out my background in baking.
Let's talk a little bit, on your website you talk about old world, but you've got this automation side of things. So again, you have that, a lot of your formation was in that old world artisan, but you need to make it a little bit faster than that. So, so kind of what's y'all's philosophy on that, with the equipment and automation,
Sure.
What's y'all's philosophy in that?
Great question. So for us, it's really a no compromises approach. There aren't a lot of secrets to making, great long fermentation artisan breads. It really is just time, patience, using the right ingredients, and respecting the process. So that is really just the foundation, and it's hard to use shortcuts there. So what we've done is we've worked with our equipment suppliers who, sometimes they would tell us that certain things weren't possible, and we would challenge that. And we have some really great partners in automation who have taken a risk with us and have said, okay, well, we've never done this before, but if you're that sure about it, let's try it. And so they've kind of taken a leap with us, and we've done some great things in our plants. But I think the most important thing is really just looking at the essential process and staying true to that, giving the dough time to rise naturally, using a sourdough starter, doing things the right way, and then finding ways to automate it. So don't adapt your process to your equipment, but rather adapt your equipment to your process.
Right. Oh, I love that. A little bit, I sort of the best thing about baking, talked a little bit about that, and there's this family element, and you make something that just makes you feel good when you eat it, and it makes your family feel good. So talk a little bit about like that joy of what you do and that passion of what you guys do. So
Sure. I mean, that's very, very rewarding. To me, that's one of the most rewarding things about being in this industry is, breaking bread is the quintessential thing that brings people together.
Right.
And to be able to create products that your customers and people remember and associate these warm family memories with, it's such a rich and rewarding part of our jobs that we're able to be part of that, and to see the look on people's faces when they try something new, or when they try a product, or when they find out that you make one of their favorite products. It's such a great experience. So we're very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, I do. It's definitely one of my favorite parts about the industry. On these podcasts, I like to talk a little bit about either a funny story or embarrassing story or some challenging deal or something. So you had a couple of really kind of funny stories about being a kid and working, and some of the challenges of that or whatever. So I think you were something about an 8th grade graduation. So
Yeah, I remember. So my 8th grade graduation, that was a great time. And after that, I remember all of my friends went and had celebrations with their families, and we had the opportunity to go to the bakery and package sweet goods, because our fresh at the time we did a lot of fresh deliveries, and so our fresh packaging crew found themselves short-staffed. So after the ceremony, we said, all right, let's go. It's time to go package some croissants and muffins. So that's what we did. And at the time, I didn't think that was that great, but looking back, it was a great way to learn work ethic. So.
Yeah. Now that you called it opportunity, that was a really choice word that you that you used there. So, but what it does teach you that work ethic, that is important, that delivering to your customers is important, and
absolutely,
and those are things that your parents believed and then passed on, which is super important. And then there was a snowstorm involved at some point. So
yeah, several snowstorms. I remember snow. For some kids was okay. We're going to go out and build snowmen. For us, it meant we were going to get into a 4-wheel drive and load up boxes of bread and deliver to our customers and our key customers, especially hotels that had guests and needed bread. So reliability was a huge part of our business growing up, and it still is today. So getting through snowstorms was a big part of that.
Be like, oh no, another snowstorm.
Yeah, there you go.
No, your friends are
we
going,
know what that means.
Oh yay, another snowstorm.
Yep.
One of the questions I asked you, and you answered about being close. You talked about being close to your people, close to the community, close to your employees, to your vendors. That I really like that word, that being close. And so tell us kind of what that means to Bakery de France.
Sure. So I think that's a critical part of what it means to be a family business. It means that we're closely engaged with everybody who's involved, with all stakeholders, because we're really passionate about this. So we have an amazing team. A lot of folks have been with us for a long time, and we're very close to them, to their families. Same with our customers, our vendors. It's about relationships and really being involved and invested in all of those relationships, because they're giving their time, they're giving a lot of their lives to this, and so we're all in it together. And that's really a core part of what it means to us to be a family business, is just staying close to everybody who makes us who we are.
Yeah. And then that really ties to that community side. Y'all been in the DC area for the whole time, right?
Yep.
And so you got to be close to that community. So what do you guys, I think y'all do some give backs and things like that. So how do y'all impact the local community?
Sure. I mean, it's really important to give back to the community. The community has given us a lot, so much over the years. So part of it is donations of our products. We donate as much product as we can through several charitable organizations. We also have a program called Bread for Thought, where our employees can sign up during business hours to participate in community service efforts. So quarterly it rotates between working in a food bank or working in a public library to donate equipment. So our team really does get engaged with that, with the community, and to give back. So it's a big part of who we are.
That's awesome. Growing up in it, like looking out to new, younger people in college, high school, or whatever, couple of words of advice that you would give them, as far as for their careers, what would you say?
Great question. I would say, find something that you're really passionate about, that excites you. Overall, not every day will be exciting or really inciting passion. But find something that you could really see yourself doing and just work really hard at it, because hard work pays off. Staying in something really pays off. So, I think it's an easy trap to fall into, to kind of hop around, but then you never really find what motivates you. So I would say baking is something that is really motivating. So get into baking and work hard.
That's a great plug. So, all right. Thank you very, very, very much for your time. I will make it a point next time I'm in DC to do some sampling of your breads. And
please do.
So really appreciate your time. So thanks for being with us on another edition of On a Roll, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.